More lawyers at the Court of Appeal today have described being hired and then fired by the March 15 gunman, with one saying Brenton Tarrant wanted him to be his mouthpiece. A leading psychologist also testified he may have exaggerated his prison conditions before launching his appeal. Senior reporter Juliet Speedy was in court.
One of the country's most prominent defence lawyers was hired by the terrorist after hearing about him from another prisoner. These are the terrorist's words.
Another prisoner called one of their old lawyers, who was very well known and respected, and arranged for them to work for me.
That could well be the case, although I don't love being called old.
The terrorist is trying to vacate his guilty pleas and have a retrial to defend his 92 charges of murder, attempted murder and terrorism. He's also appealing his sentence. He says torturous, inhumane prison conditions led him to an irrational mind when he pleaded guilty. Mansfield was, in part, hired to help with a judicial review for the terrorist prison conditions.
I was happy to help him with that, having formed the view that the conditions were unsatisfactory.
But Mansfield became yet another lawyer to be fired by the terrorist, who was frustrated, believing the work being done by Mansfield wasn't fast enough.
He was quite content to advance what he wanted to advance on his own behalf.
But not before Mansfield explained that he may be able to appeal his sentence.
I certainly talked to him about a sentence appeal and whether that might be appropriate, given his inability to seek parole.
He also talked about lodging an appeal, which by that point was already well out of time.
Have you ever filed a notice of appeal out of time, Mr. Mansfield?
Sadly, frequently.
Leading human rights lawyer Tony Ellis was also hired and had a number of phone calls with the mass murderer.
The nature of the conversations I had with Mr. Tarrant were, from time to time, lengthy, because, as with many clients who have been detained in solitary confinement, they want to have a chat with somebody because it's psychologically harmful to be left in solitary confinement, and you need human interaction.
They too discussed a possible appeal over the terror attack that killed 51 innocent worshippers.
I would basically be his mouthpiece, and I told him that I wasn't prepared to act in those circumstances.
The court today also heard from a leading psychologist and prison expert who cast doubt on the terrorist's claims that prison conditions may have impaired his mental health. He said from his analysis, the terrorist may have offered a contrived and exaggerated version of his mental state ahead of the appeal. Not the mental state when he committed his horrific crimes, but his mental state when he was in a prison with conditions he didn't like.